Bill Gates has talked about taxing robots at 90%. And what that means, what he's really talking about, is taxing corporations at 90%. But it's easier to say tax a robot.
Miki Konst is a former Bernie Sanders surrogate. She's also a Democratic socialist and was the socialist candidate for New York Public Advocate. She joins us tonight. Miki, thanks for coming on.
Hi, Tucker. Thank you.
Unlike a lot of people on the right, I don't dismiss Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't think everything she says is wrong. I admire the fact that she's brave enough to say what she thinks, and I think she says interesting things. So I want to take this point seriously. Mm-hmm. She's right that automation could eliminate a lot of jobs. That seems like a tragedy to me. She seems to dismiss it as no big deal. Why shouldn't we be really worried about that?
Well, I think I wouldn't say that she's dismissing it as no big deal. I mean, she said that it really comes down to economics. I mean, our system, and she's a Democratic socialist, I'm a Democratic socialist, and essentially that means that more democracy is brought to our government and to our economic models and our economic system. Right now, we have a system where there are very few who are profiting off of illness, very few who are profiting off of debt, and very few who are profiting off of automation, which is essentially putting people out of work.
Right.
If we build an economic system that, innovates innovation should not be at the expense of jobs. We need to innovate, otherwise we would be in horse and buggies, right? Of course. But it doesn't mean at the expense of a labor force, which ultimately hurts creativity. When fewer people are able to innovate because they cannot, they're working 3 or 4 jobs, that hurts business. That hurts small businesses. That hurts our ability to innovate as a society. That hurts society as a whole. But we need to make sure that when we are innovating, we are also protecting workers. We're making sure people have benefits. We're making sure people can pay off their debt. And when you have a system, an economic system of capitalism, this late-stage capitalism we have now, where very few are making an extraordinary amount of money off of exploiting workers or keeping people unemployed or in debt.
So I actually agree with the majority of what you said. I'm just not sure, and I'm concerned about a system where a smaller number of people get a larger percentage of the shares. It makes your society unstable, obviously, and it is unstable as a result. Right. I just don't understand her point about automation. If all of a sudden, and McKinsey and lots of other forecasters predict that in 30 years, a huge percentage of our jobs will be gone, people have nothing to do, you could get, and Andrew Yang makes this point, a revolution. So why shouldn't we be really worried about that? I don't understand.
I think the revolution is happening right now. I mean, look at the rise of democratic socialism when the majority of young people who are burdened by debt, who can't find stable employment, or if they do, they have multiple jobs to pay their rent or living at home with their kids or with their parents.
I get it.
That is a revolution. That is a political revolution. It's what Bernie Sanders built, and it's what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez...
It is. Wait, but hold on. Okay, I get it completely. I think you're absolutely right. There's a lot more economic insecurity among young people than we acknowledge, and that's why they're all socialists. I totally agree. I've been saying that for 2 years. I just think we need an answer to that, and the answer is not we're just going to pay you $1,000 a month to cool out and smoke weed. People need purpose in their lives.
They need jobs.
They need to feel like they have meaning. I'm serious, and most people get meaning through their jobs. So robots take our jobs. Where's the meaning?
Well, historically, I mean, if you look back at these transitions, whether it was the transition from horse and buggy to car, or other forms of technological innovation, radio to television, I mean, there was always a concern about jobs being lost, and there's always work. There's always work. It's just we need to make sure that work is protected. And I think what she's referring to, if I don't want to speak on behalf of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but if what she's referring to is innovation is going to happen, we just need to make sure that the companies who are making money off that innovation are being taxed appropriately. And right now they are not. I mean, when you look at the companies that don't want to pay their workers a $15 minimum wage and they choose to automate, they're not paying enough taxes, if any, in exchange. When you look at the rise of suicide of taxi workers,
I think you need to read up on
taxes.
this. I mean, it may be that there just aren't jobs.
No,
that would be very bad.
I think that, listen, there are always going to be jobs. We have to essentially innovate with new job creation. There are going to be architects, there are going to be scientists, there are going to be lawyers. And the more educated society gets, now, of course, millennials are a very overeducated generation, but they don't have the jobs to match their education.
We've just agreed more than we've ever agreed ever in
You're
every
a Democratic socialist
now,
Tucker.
To the point where there's going to be more lawyers, and I thought, I'm out. I'm not for more lawyers. That's one thing I'm definitely not for.
I'm not for more lawyers either.
We're out of time. Good
Thanks,
for you.
Tucker.
We're against
Welcome
the
to
lawyers.
DSA.
Thank you.